Firstly, I'll introduce our group members: 刘亦婷、杜宇泽、周荣天、胡静茹、任明鹤、毛颖. Now let's go into our topic. Firstly, I've introduced the background of the anonymous voting. I divide it into three parts. The first one is history. The idea of anonymous voting dates back to ancient Greece, where citizens would cast their votes secretly by dropping a colored pebbles into something. This practice was meant to ensure freedom of choice and protect voters from retribution or prospection based on their political beliefs. So what about the second part and the third part? The second part, development. After the rise of democracy. With the rise of modern democracies, anonymous voting became a very important practice in most parts of the world. And the third part is in recent years. Anonymous voting has become even more important in recent years with the rise of electronic voting systems, which can potentially compromise voter privacy and security, because that's really important in our true world. As such, many countries have implemented strict security measures to protect the anonymity of voters, such as using paper ballots and ensuring that voting machines are not connected to the internet. Well, now I will give you the exact definition of the anonymous voting. Anonymous voting is a process of casting voters without revealing the identity of a person who cast them. This type of voting is designed to protect the privacy and confidentiality of voters, and is often used in elections and other types of decision-making process where sensitive or controversial issues are at stake.
How does anonymous voting work in the real world? Anonymous voting in the real world is typically conducted through the use of paper ballots or electronic voting machines. Voters are required to mark their choice privately, without revealing their identity or professions to anyone else. The anonymity of voter typically ensures those various measures, such as use of number, ballot paper, or electronic of electronic voting once of voting process is complete. The voters are called and trafficked in the way that preserves the anyone of the voters. In some cases, parties may be used to verify the accuracy of the results. Anonymous voting is an important tool for protecting the right and privacy of the identical voter and ensure fair and electoral election.
Hello everyone, my name is Du Yuze, and my student number is 8197815, and I want to introduce the three parts and the conditions for proper use of anonymous voting. And first, I want to show you the secret voting system. And before anonymous voting can function properly, a secret voting system is needed to ensure the integrity of the voting process. The system must be designed to authenticate voters and prevent any fraudulent activities. And I think it's very important because it guarantees the best fairness of the vote. And the second, I will show you the voter confidentiality. The privacy and confidentiality of the voters must be ensured to encourage them to vote without the fear of the reprisal or the victimization, and they can practice every voter. And the third one, voter verification. Voters must be properly verified before they can be allowed to cast their votes. And this is to prevent any illegible voters from participating in the voting process, and this regulates the conduct of voting activities. And the fourth, it's the most important, I think, is the honest voters. And anonymous voting can only work with honest voters who are willing to cast their vote without revealing their identity and guarantees the quality of the result. And the fifth, the transparent audio trail. The vote system must be designed to create a transparent audio trail, which will enable the authorities of monitor the voting process and detect any irregularities. And finally, I want to tell you in the situations where these need to fair and based decision making and anonymous voting can be best used. And this can include organizational elections, service openings, polls, and jury decisions. And anonymous voting can help to remove any protecting and base or fluence that may excess voters are indefensible and promote a more transparent and democratic process. And this is all of my part, and thank you very much.
There are many advantages of anonymous voting. I selected 4 of them and I will introduce them to you. The first one is protection of privacy. Anonymous voting ensures that an individual's personal preferences or beliefs remain private and secure, preventing any form of retaliation or discrimination based on their vote. And the second one is independence of vote. Anonymous voting allows people to vote without pressure or influence from others because you need to finish voting by yourself without any factors, leading to a fair and just decision by the majority. And the third one is transparency and fairness. Anonymous voting promotes transparency and fairness in the voting process as it eliminates any potential for vote manipulation or bias. And the last one is encourage participation. Anonymous voting can encourage non-voters to participate as it provides them with a sense of safety and privacy in the exercise of their right to vote.
5. Examples of the application of anonymous voting in the real world. First, political elections. Anonymous voting is widely used in political elections around the world. Voters cast their ballots in secret, and their identity and preference remain confidential. This ensures that the elections process is fair and transparent. Second, corporate elections. Anonymous voting is also used in corporate elections where shareholders vote on various matters, such as the appointment of board members, exhaustive compensations, and other important decisions. This allows shareholders to vote freely without any fear of retributions. Third, online polls and surveys. Online polls and surveys often use anonymous voting to gather feedback from participation. This encourages honest and unbiased responses, and the participants are more likely to share their true opinion when they know what their identity is not being related.
Hello everyone, my name is Zheng Tian, and this video is an example of anonymous voting. I found on YouTube about the American presidential election, which is elected by anonymous voting for more vigorous districts. Please watch this video next.
Every 4 years, citizens of the United States vote for their president. It can seem like a complicated process. Each one of the 50 states oversees their own individual elections, and the total number of precincts, or voting districts, in each state can vary from election to election. Recently, there have been about 200,000 nationwide. Not only that, these numerous voting districts all use different ballots and procedures. There are some things they have in common, though. There are at least 2 election workers at every polling place, and they help each other to make sure there are no mistakes. That's 400,000 people. But if these workers do miss something, there are also election officials from both the Republican and Democratic parties, double-checking everything. That's another 400,000 people keeping an eye on things. The machines that count the votes come with a tamper-resistant seal, and officials from each party inspect them before they are used. In addition, voting machines are not connected to the internet. This means it is impossible to hack into the system. After the polls close, the election is far from over. State election officials must first certify or ensure that every vote has been properly counted. Lawyers for both parties are on hand to oversee the entire process. Although the winner is usually known by the end of election night, the results are not made official until the entire certification process is complete. On January 6th, the U.S. Congress formally accepts the results and thereby announces the next President of the United States of America.
Thanks for watching, and hopefully this video will help you understand the benefits of anonymous voting. This is conducive to the protection of personal privacy and the full expression of their wishes.
Okay, next is my part. The references of the anonymous voting have 3 references. The first is the right to a secret and anonymous ballot is the cornerstone of democracy. It means anonymous voting is at the heart of modern democracies. It is impossible to vote anonymously, that is, so-called democracy exists in name only. It is failed to give voice to the real voice of the people. The second one is anonymous voting ensures that every citizen can express their opinion without a fear of or retribution or discrimination. It means that since the connotation and core of the anonymous voting system is anonymous, it can fully guarantee the personal privacy and even personal safety of voters. It can be imagined that if in an election voters are threatened and retaliated against by a certain candidate because they didn't vote for it, it will undoubtedly be a very terrible thing. The third one is anonymity is in voting is not simply a confidence. It is a necessity for the democracy to function effectively. It means that in a modern democratic system, anonymous voting is a very important way which can prevent the occurrence of electoral fraud and ensure the fairness and authority of the democratic system. Okay.
Overall, anonymous voting can contribute to building trust and confidence in the electoral system and ultimately to a more stable and prosperous society. This is our group presentation. Thank you very much.